Namaskar, everyone, didis, and all brother and sister from around the world. So good morning. Okay. Parampita Babaki.
Jai.
Okay, so here was 57 participants. So I would like to say welcome everyone to this Yoga of Emotional training course, which is we will lead or give by Brother Rudra Mohan. First, I would like to say thank you to Didi Sweda and Didi Haribia, which is already organized these yoga trains, and also all the committees, Brother Krishna, and all the translator. And then also thank you to Brother Rudra Mohan for the times for sharing with us. And I think some of us last week was attend his course also. This was very amazing, and yeah, today we met again. And then thank you also for all the participants from all the worlds, from Vietnam, Bali, and other country to this course. And we will have 6 hours, right? 6 hours together in these rooms. Okay, so before we start the class, it is very nice to have kirtan class. So for that, I would like to invite Brother Budiswara. Is Brother Budiswara is here? Namaskar. So time is your brother.
Thank you.
Namaskar. Thank you, brothers. Okay, so before we start our main class, I would like to remind all the participants our rules. I think all of you knows our schedule, right? We have in our WhatsApp group. So we will start the class, but before that, so everyone, please always mute yourself while the class is start. And then the second one, if you have any question, so please raise up your hands by click the icons in your Zoom. And then also if try to not always to turn on your camera, so please turn on your camera while the class starting. And also please not just go out and go in Zoom. And so that is the main rules. And later we will divide in 5 rooms. So for Indonesia we have Balinese in Indonesia. For the participant from Bali, so please stand to Bali's rooms. And then from Indonesia, so please enter Indonesia and the other rooms. Okay, today we also have our translator. So for Indonesians, I'd like to invite Sister Anandi, so and also Sister Lalita for Vietnamese. Okay, so let me now invite Brother Rudra Mohan to give the class. So time is yours. Thank you.
Okay, namaskar everybody. Thank you, Sister Mira, for the introduction, and also thank you for all the people you thanked already. I think it's a lot of work to bring so many people together, and also it's not easy for so many people to take off one day and join this program. And so very thankful to all of you for joining in. And today's workshop is actually very different from last week. And last week we talked about children's yoga and how to teach children. And today we want to explore more about the science of yoga and how does it work, and also for our personal life. How can we use our yoga for our own development in a better way? And so the big topic is yoga of emotions, which we can say is a kind of yoga psychology. And so yoga psychology explores how yoga affects the mind. And so I want to share with you about how I see it and how I try to link Western science with our 7,000 years old practices of yoga. So, and so today we have, I saw already, Ratnesha, oh, you're always so sincere. Just that we have this teacher's handout, but what I will speak about first is not in your handout. So maybe you have to make few notes so you can keep track of what is going on. The big idea is that yoga, the path of yoga is to learn to control all the propensities and all the urges in our mind. And so when you look at yoga, 7,000 years old, but yoga has changed. And through this period of 7,000 years, from Shiva to Krishna and after Krishna, yoga has been transforming all the time. And scientists say that yoga has transformed because our our brains have developed. So our ability to understand and analyze and experience spirituality has changed over time. So with more brain power, with more brain stimulation, we have been developing deeper realizations. And so 2,000 years ago, there was a philosopher called Patanjali who wrote Yoga Sutras. And he defined yoga as Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Means to say yoga is the path of controlling all the propensities of the mind. Now this idea many people have heard, and actually today we want to explore more. What are propensities and how can we control them? And on a practical level, the thing is that we all have emotions. So we have our fears, we have our anger, we have our worry, we have our hope. And many of our emotions we don't like. I don't know about you, but in my mind, I have something I would like to get rid of, okay? And I'm an old man, and I've been trying for all these years, and they're still there. So why are these emotions coming back? And why can we not free ourselves from the emotions? Like we do yoga, we do meditation, we do kirtan, we do fasting, we eat sattvic diet, but still we are stuck, caught up with these emotions. And so today we want to explore a little bit how yoga teaches us and what we can do and how we can accept our emotions. Maybe our emotions are not our enemies, and maybe emotions can be used for our spiritual inner development. And so I was thinking today we first start a little bit with the science of yoga and the science of our asana practice, yoga practice, and then we go more into the mental side. And so I was thinking we first start talking about our nerve system. Yoga changes our nerves. And people have done research that if you do meditation, your prefrontal cortex becomes stronger. If you have a lot of stress, other part of your brain becomes smaller. So through yoga, actually, we learn to develop stronger nerves. Now, in our body, we have the oldest nerve system is called the autonomic nerve system. And this one has two parts. It has the sympathetic and parasympathetic. Now, to explain that a little bit more, I use this chart. So when you look at this, you can see if the sympathetic nerves are stimulated when you have tension. Okay, so when you have tension, your brain will send hormones to your adrenals and you become very active. And so we need a little bit of this in life. We cannot only relax and easy life. And so when the sympathetic nerves in our body become active, then we don't have a good digestion, we don't have much energy for our heart. Most of us is ready to move the body. So we focus our senses and we use the muscles of our body. Now we cannot only have tension, and the parasympathetic nerves, the other part of our autonomic nerve system, deals with digestion. So you relax, you can digest very well, so your heart rate goes down, your blood pressure goes down, and you feel very nice. Now, both parts of our nerve system sometimes are active and sometimes they rest. Now, in our society today, the tension is high. So we usually are always ready to be active. Okay, so we are always ready to respond, maybe to our work, our boss, the children in the classroom. We get tension, so we are active here. So that time, our digestion is not so good, and the hormones in our body actually are also not healthy for our cells. So if we are tense all the time, we easily develop sicknesses. Now, on the other hand, if somebody is always in the other side of the nerve system, then this person becomes depressed. It's easy to become depressed and to be stuck in negative thinking. So what we like in yoga, we say, and mental health means both sides of the nerve system have to be balanced. Sometimes active, sometimes we have to learn to relax. Now, many yoga postures do help us with this, but I want to show you, naturally, we have a cycle. And in this cycle, there sometimes the sympathetic means the tension comes up. The red parts in this circle are where you want to be active. So these are where the sympathetic nerves are more active. Now when you see the blue, blue is where your parasympathetic means you relax. Okay, so usually around 6 a.m. we feel, hey, we have to get up, we have to go do something. Our body naturally becomes more active. And so from 6 to around 10 a.m. we are ready and we can do things. Our body naturally feels inclined to work. Then comes close to lunchtime. So lunchtime, noontime, our body naturally becomes more balanced. We want to have a break. Our body needs a break. So that time, the sympathetic and the parasympathetic are balanced. And then in the afternoon, after maybe you have a nap, maybe you have something to eat, or you play, or you check your cell phone, and in the afternoon, you become active again. So this is a natural cycle. And then around 6 o'clock, you want to go home, have dinner with your family, relax, maybe watch TV, chat with your friends. And then around 10, it becomes time. 9, 10, or 8, 9, becomes time to sleep. Your body becomes tired, and you sleep. Now, but in the sleep, again you see, in the middle of the night, your sympathetic nerve system becomes active again. And I don't know about you, and many people, when we sleep, we don't have just a smooth sleep from night till morning. Between, there are some fluctuations, there are some changes. And so in the middle of the night, we become more active, maybe go to the bathroom, then maybe we want to talk with somebody, and then later on we fall asleep again. This blue one is again our body's natural rhythm is to go back to sleep. And then around 4:30, the body becomes active. This is a rhythm. Now if you see, I don't know how you live, but here we live every morning, 5 o'clock, we do meditation online at Panchajanya. So the natural cycle of the body is when there is a balance in the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nerve system, it's a good time for meditation. Okay, so the best time for meditation is really 4:30 to 6. After 6, your body wants to be active.
Jadi itu tubuh memang secara kontrol untuk adalah waktu. Lagi tubuh kita memberikan untuk
your body's natural balance is suitable for meditation. Your sympathetic and your
yang diadakan adalah natural bagaimana
But then again in the evening, sunset, your body again has a natural balance for sitting quiet.
jadi ada waktu tertentu tubuh itu ingin mengembangkan
Here you're too sleepy to meditate. Here you're too sleepy because the parasympathetic is too active. But in the middle of the night, you have a golden time.
saraf hanya pada masih itu tertidur.
5 to 6. Then, okay, you can do asanas. You can still use your body after 6, but not so suitable. You can do meditation if you're late, but it's more difficult. So here you become naturally more active, and then in the noontime, again meditate. Evening, meditate, and midnight, your body is more ready, more balanced to do meditation. Now this is the natural cycle. Many of us, especially if you're in the school, your noontime, you have to take care of your children, you have to write reports, you have to communicate with parents, you don't have rest. Maybe when you go home, you still have to prepare the next day's lesson plan or homework. You don't have rest. So actually, our body loses the natural rhythm of rest, active, and then active rest. And this we call active rest. Your mind is alert, but your body is relaxed. But here, you can move your body. So meditation likes alert mind, active mind, but same time, the body has to be peaceful. So this is the sympathetic and parasympathetic. Now, many diseases come. Why do we get sickness? And why do we get cancer? Or why do we get diabetes? Or why do we get stroke? Many of these diseases come because we are stressed. Too much stress causes our body's chemical balance to be unhealthy, and we become sick. So yoga, the idea of yoga, one big idea is to balance the sympathetic and parasympathetic part of the body. Okay, so this is a very important point I want you to know very well. And so when last week we talked about this already a little, and we said, yeah, okay, let's say you do a chest opening pose. And so for example, you do chakrasana. Okay, so here is the asana. Now I want to ask you, what part of the nerve system is stimulated? The sympathetic or parasympathetic? Anybody can answer? This pose.
Sympathetic.
Which one did you say? Sympathetic or para?
Sympathetic.
Sympathetic. You activate your sympathetic nerve system. Now, for example, when you look at yoga mudra, what do we activate?
Parasympathetic.
The parasympathetic. So, then you have to look at a person. Okay, so sometimes I get yoga people in my class, and they bring their cell phone in the class. And even when doing the asana practice, they do have to watch their cell phone. So this kind of person is overstimulated on the sympathetic side. He is overworked, overstressed, always thinking about his work. He cannot stop. Okay? So I'm not saying work is not important, okay? Don't take me wrong. Work is very important, but there is a time to work and there is a time to stop your work. So this person comes to yoga class and he cannot stop thinking about his work. Or for example, in our class with the children, we have these children who are hyperactive. Now, according to yoga, in our yoga concept, we say they are stuck on one side. And actually today we are going to talk a lot about, the unbalance of the nerve system. If somebody is imbalanced in the nerve system, if somebody is stuck on this side, and this person maybe have difficulty to sleep, have a lot of anxiety, have a lot of restlessness. And if somebody is stuck here, this person is on the parasympathetic side. this person is not active. He's too scared, insecure to go out and do something. And so a big part of our yoga is to balance sympathetic and parasympathetic. And so when we talk about emotions, and later we're going to talk in much detail, but when we talk about emotions, a big part of balancing emotional behavior is to train the body to release the tension of the sympathetic, or to train the body to activate the parasympathetic. So in many poses you will find, we do back bend and then we bend forward, and we do a back bend and we do forward. So the back bend stimulates the stress response in your body, the sympathetic, and then we go forward and we bend forward, and we learn our body feels relaxed and safe. Now, as the body changes, our mind will also change. Okay? So this is a very, very nice thing to know. And so now most people are stuck on the sympathetic side, on the stress side. Now there are few reflexes, and there are very simple reflexes. So I want you to observe for yourself. The first thing we do is put your chin on your body, move your shoulders forward. Okay, then we inhale, you come up, open your chest, move your head backwards. Exhale, bring your chin to the chest, bend forward. Okay, now we relax. So when we move the head, the chin on the chest, and when the chin touches the chest, in our body there will be a reflex to lower the heart rate. When we open the chest and we move the head backwards, we open the throat, the heart rate will increase. Now, so the body will change. Now in yoga we learn, okay, whatever the body does, we don't need to follow, okay? A big thing of yoga is to learn to rise above the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nerve system. And so when we do the asana and we stimulate the stress in response of the body, we can keep our mind balanced. And when we relax and go into the parasympathetic, we also keep our mind balanced. Now, I hope this is not too difficult, but I hope you understand that the purpose of yoga practice is not to be influenced by parasympathetic or sympathetic. And so, for example, one Indian yogi, he went to the United States. This is real, it's not a story. And he went for this laboratory test. And they measured the temperature in one hand, and they measured the temperature in the other hand. And they found that one hand's temperature is 10 degrees higher than the other hand. Okay, so one hand is hot, one hand is cool. Then he changed. This hand became hot, this hand became cool. Now what is he doing? He can control the whole autonomic nerve system. He can control where the blood will go and where the blood will be stopped. So the purpose of yoga is to learn. We don't want to learn how to make one hand hot and one hand cold. But the purpose of yoga is to control the whole autonomic nervous system. So the practice of yoga, the meditation, the asana, the breathing, all these practices, the aim is to learn to control the whole nerve system. Now, I hope this first step you can understand. And so, for example, our guru, Baba Nandamurti Ji, one time the doctor came, checked his blood pressure, and he said, "Oh no, your blood pressure is too high." And Baba says, "No, there's nothing wrong with my blood pressure. You measure again." And then he checked again the blood pressure. Then the doctor said, "Oh, now your blood pressure is too low." So within 2 minutes, he changed the blood pressure from very high to very low. Means to say, from sympathetic, your blood pressure goes up, to parasympathetic, your blood pressure goes down. The yogi masters control the whole nerve system. And this is called biopsychology. Okay, so how can we use our yoga to control our body? Biopsychology. Now, so this is one important point. So I hope you understand. Does anybody have questions about the autonomic nerve system? Anybody wants to ask questions?
I have question, brother, about the parasympathetic and sympathetic. Little bit, brother. How is this different? Yeah.
So
this little bit, yes.
Okay. So when you're relaxed, your heartbeat goes down. Okay. When you relax, your heartbeat slows down. Then your stomach activity goes up. So your digestion becomes stronger. And so I don't know about you, but for example, today I have to give class. I must do my job well. So I have a little tension I put on myself. I cannot just sit here and waste your time. So I have a little tension. I have no appetite. I am here now. Not so serious, but anyway, you understand, when you have to do something, you don't think about eating. And but when you relax, it's, let's go and eat. Your parasympathetic system increases stomach activity. Your intestines activity goes up. And they're very important because your glucose levels in the blood go down. So when you relax, you don't need that much sugar in your body and you can cool down. The body slows down. And so these are the main points for the parasympathetic nerve system condition. In the sympathetic means, this is where you want to be active. So here your heartbeat goes up, your lungs open more because you need more oxygen to be active. So your lungs naturally will open more, but your stomach slows down. So if you have tension, it's not easy to digest your food. And so, for example, in your school, if you have children who have constipation, maybe they have tension. Maybe, okay? Of course, it can have many reasons. But one thing I have seen in my children is that when I see, some kids, they go to the bathroom once a week. And that I think it is not healthy. And when the poo-poo comes out, it's like stone. And one reason is maybe father or mother give the child too much pressure. They are too strict with their children. So if they're strict, kids are always here. If they are relaxed, their digestion moves faster. Okay? So if you see kids have stomach problem, and this one, you know, last week we didn't talk about this, but massaging the feet, you can understand the problem of your children. And so I brought you the massage chart, and when you look at the massage chart and you press the stomach point of the feet of the children, you will find sometimes they say, oh, it's very painful, very painful. Stomach pain is a problem of children. Not only children, I think many adults as well. And sorry, I'm going to show my foot. You press this point here, this point. Press this point and you press nicely, okay? Press it, and then you feel, is it painful or is it just sensitive? If you press that point, in children, you will know if they have stomach pain or not. And if they have stomach pain, maybe change diet. Maybe they have tension. And in my experience, many children have tension. Okay. In the parasympathetic, we said sugar goes down. In the sympathetic, sugar goes up in the blood. Okay. So if sugar levels go up and they're always high, we get diabetes. And so diabetes is really a disease of tension. Tension is very unhealthy. Tension also affects the brain. And so our brain, certain parts of the brain become smaller if we have too much tension. And yeah, so the other things are not so important. So the main point you have to know is digestion is inactive. You get more air, heartbeat goes up, sugar goes up, and you are ready to fight, to work. Here, it slows down. Do you understand these two?
Thank you, brother. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Any other questions? Because this is very important. If you understand this point, then you come to understand what you're doing in the yoga class. Because you cannot only do forward bends with the children. You cannot do only kind of this pose, or you cannot only do this pose. You have to, these are cooling poses. And so all these poses, they cool down the body, they slow down the heartbeat, they help the digestion, and they're good for the brain, but you cannot only slow down people, you have to also stimulate them. So the stimulating poses are, for example, this one. Actually, this one is very beautiful because, and this is so beautiful, the science of asana. Here, you see the pelvis blood flow is blocked. Okay? So the blood stays up. Now, if there's more blood in the top part of your body, your heart rate will go down. Okay? Then we open the chest. You open the chest, you activate your sympathetic system. So there are two effects in this pose. One way is you have a parasympathetic effect and you have a sympathetic effect. It balances. So like in yoga, this kind of pose is used for depression. And so if a person is stuck, the nerve system is not balanced, this is a wonderful pose to help prevent depression. And so like this, you can analyze your poses better. Now, anyway, we go step by step. So far, we focus only on the nerve system, okay? And the purpose of yoga is to balance the nerves, both sides. And we don't want to be only stuck in the sympathetic or parasympathetic. We want it to be balanced. Now, I want to talk with you about glands. So this first section is about the autonomic nerve system. Now we talk about the glands. We call the endocrine system. Sorry, there are many medical terms, but you know, so nice. You know, yoga is 7,000 years old, and yoga is a science. And so we can use the science of today to understand the science of yoga. And I think they match. And this is the beautiful thing about this whole, you know, the study of biopsychology, is that modern science can explain what we learn in our traditional yoga philosophy. Okay, so we have glands, and so our nerve system works through the nerves and as a response can change the body. The glands, they don't have their channel like the nerves, and so the nerves, so let's say here in the brain, the mind is thinking something, the brain becomes active and sends the message to one place. The glands don't work like that. The glands go with the blood flow. And so the hormone from the glands can go anywhere, but maybe will not attach, and we have receptors. So every cell has a receptor for certain hormones. And so the hormone may come, but if there's no receptor, the hormone cannot affect the cell. And so we have the pineal gland, which has melatonin. I don't know if you've heard melatonin, but anyway, it affects the whole body's rhythm. Then we have pituitary gland, which sometimes people call the master gland, because the pituitary affects the whole body. And so pineal affects the pituitary, also affects these glands, but the pituitary affects everybody. Then we have the thyroid gland in our throat, thymus in the chest, adrenal glands in our kidneys, and then we have the male, female, the gonads in the pelvis. So these are the main glands. Now let's say you have a thought. Okay, so our mind is thinking something. That thought goes to the brain. The brain sends it to the hypothalamus. Right? Anyway, I will talk about that later. And then that one will send a hormone message to the pituitary. And the pituitary will send a message to wherever they need to go. And so, for example, you see something scary. You see something feel dangerous. For example, like now these days, my grandchildren are staying with us. We watch their security. Okay, so we worry, is it safe or not safe? Are they falling down? They're very small, like 1 and 2 years old. So your mind is observing them. When you see something dangerous, your pituitary will be stimulated and send a message, action. You go to the adrenal gland and you run and you protect the child. Okay? So it's as simple as that. You have a thought, you worry, they will send a hormone message to the kidney, to the adrenal glands, and you take action. And when the children are safe and you feel relaxed, then your glands become balanced again. And so your glands stimulate your actions. Now, we do not only have the big glands, our whole body is full of glands which are called endocrine cells. Means it's one cell that can secrete hormones. So when you look at these glands, the thyroid gland, many cells together. The adrenals, many cells. The gonads, many cells together. In our body, we have individual cells. And they can give off hormones. So in our lungs, in our stomach, intestines, we have one cell that makes hormones. Now, why I tell you this? Two reasons. One reason, and this is something scientists have been researching the last 15, 20 years. Many cancers of the lung, they say about 25% of tumors in the lungs come from the individual cell. More than 50% of the cancer in the digestive system comes from the individual cells. So if these cells don't work well, they get sick and they can become cancer or become a tumor. So I know this is a little bit tough, but I hope you understand. Our health depends on the health of the glands. There is no disease that has no cause in the glands. All the disease comes from the glands. So when the glands don't function well, the body becomes imbalanced and we can get serious sickness. So I hope you remember we have two endocrine systems and two hormone systems. One is the big hormones, and then we have the individual cells. In our master's yoga philosophy, in Baba's yoga psychology, he talks about sub-glands. And so you have the glands, and you have the individual cells, which he calls sub-glands. So I hope you can remember that sub-glands and the individual cells, they are local, and their effect is local. It's not all over the body. And so like this, the pituitary can affect the whole body. This one, these little cells, they only can affect the local area, okay? And but they are important for our health. Now, in yoga, we like to say asanas can help with our glands, balance the glands. Now, it sounds very simple, and it's not so simple. So for example, here we have the spinal twist, Machendrasana. And usually we say Machendrasana can balance the adrenal glands. So if a person is too hyperactive, too stressed, then we say, oh, need to do twists. Okay, so we say you press the body, press the knee against the body, and then twist the body, and then you can balance your adrenal glands. Now science is not so simple, because your adrenal glands are controlled by your pituitary, right? your adrenals, they don't decide by themselves. Oh, we want more hormones or less hormones. The pituitary does it. So we cannot say twisting the body is going to change the level of hormones. What we can say is, okay, you stretch your muscles in the back, your body relaxes, your nerve system from sympathetic becomes parasympathetic. So your nerve system relaxes, your brain tells your pituitary less hormone. Okay? Do you understand this point? It's important. So when we say you do the spinal twist and you can lower your adrenal secretion, your tension, hormones, it's indirectly. What you really do is you change your nerve system. Your nerve system tells your brain, relax. The brain tells the adrenals, relax. Now, there is another mechanism which is possible. That when we do this, we squeeze the stomach area, okay? So when you twist your body, you squeeze the stomach, and then you come back. So the blood flow from your stomach goes out and then it comes back, goes out and it comes back. So we repeat, goes out and comes back. So the blood flow changes, and this one will make the hormone go to its target, because the hormone needs the blood circulation to reach the target cells. So you can say, okay, twisting helps balance the adrenals. So for example, one we have seen is through the brain. The brain says relax, and then it relaxes. The second one is, if let's say your hormones are not working well, twisting can make them more efficient through the blood flow. Okay, so this one is very important again. And so you understand that when you do a pose, you change your nerve system, you change through the nerve system, you change your hormone levels and the action of your hormone. Now, for example, when we do shoulder stand, and when we do shoulder stand, I show you this one, okay? So when we do shoulder stand, again, what do? We press the thyroid. So we have the thyroid, then we do our fish pose. The fish pose opens the chest, opens the throat. So for example, we do the halasana. Again, we press this area, so we affect the glands here. When the thyroid is affected, more balanced, it helps the whole glandular system. And so in yoga practice, we always say you must do the shoulder stand, or you must do plow pose. The shoulder stand or plow, they are important for balancing the thyroid. Now again, keep in mind, our effect on the thyroid is two ways. One is the blood flow, and one is through the relaxation. So you invert the body, the blood flow goes to the chest and the head. This will lower the heartbeat, and then your parasympathetic nerve system becomes active, and then it slows down all the action in the glands. And so we balance the glands through slowing it down, making it active, slowing it down and making it active. This is how that functions. But it works indirectly. Okay? It doesn't work, oh, you press here and you change the gland. It doesn't work like that. It goes to the brain. Okay, so this is about the glands. And so we have chest opening for the thymus glands. We have inversions for the thyroid, pituitary, and then we have twists for the adrenal glands, and then we have forward bends for the gonads. Does anybody have questions about this? I know this is not so easy, but you know, once you start to know this, you'll be, hey, this is very useful. And I hope you can learn that, okay, when you do the pulses, don't look just at the outside. Try to think what is happening inside the body. So when we do a pulse, and so for example, when we do a pulse, then we are working on the glands, we are working on the sympathetic or parasympathetic nervous system. So for example, when we do this pulse, and the blood flow goes away from here, and we are active here, and then we relax, the blood flow goes back to the belly. And so this kind of pulse is good for the stomach, for the organs, and also for the balance of the adrenal glands. So the blood flow. So when you look at the pulse, always ask yourself, where does the blood go? Okay? So later on, we're going to break up in groups, and you're going to discuss in the group what does this pulse do. So, for example, when we do Mayurasana, the hand balancing pose, all the body's weight is on your belly. So it's very good for making the belly strong, and also it's good for the circulation in the belly. So when you look at this pose, the blood flow goes out. When you relax, the blood flow comes back, and it becomes stronger than before. So this area becomes very active. So when you look at this pose, first question asks, where does the blood go? And what does the blood do? So in this pose, does it activate sympathetic or parasympathetic? Anybody? Does it activate?
Sympathetic.
Sympathetic, that's right. And then when you relax and you go kneel down or you lie down, your body relaxes, go back to parasympathetic. Okay? So the first thing here is tension, here is the muscles are active, it's an active pose, so you use your parasympathetic. You relax, it becomes, you use sympathetic. When you relax, it becomes parasympathetic. Now, we spend so much time on these glands, and we spend so much time on this blood flow, because when we have imbalance in our glands, we have imbalance in our emotions. So we are coming to the point that if our glands, if tissue is, for example, some people don't do asana, some people don't do exercise, so their body becomes stiff. The body is stiff. The first thing what will happen is all these little endocrine cells become inactive. When they are inactive, the body it loses its health. Okay? So why every day our teacher, our guru says morning and evening, twice a day. For some disease, he says 3 times a day, asana. Why? circulation. Circulation. So if the blood moves well, your glands, the hormones from the glands move to the cells where they have to go. They become healthy, and then your body can keep better balance. If the glands become stuck, when the glands are stuck, then the hormones don't go to the cells. The cells are not happy. They also become inactive, and we start to feel negative emotions. And so in yoga, in our idea of emotion, everything goes back to the body. All our emotions, the origin of the emotions, are in a physical condition. Okay, so now we come back to what we said this morning. We worry. We tell ourselves, don't worry, it will be okay. But we worry. Sometimes we get angry. We don't want to be angry. We really don't like to be angry, but we get angry. Sometimes we feel depressed. We don't like to be depressed. I don't want to be depressed. I don't feel well. Today, I don't want to go out. I call my principal, I'm sick. I don't go to school. I'm not feeling good. Now, our yoga idea teaches us whatever feeling we have, whatever emotion we have, is an imbalance in our body. And if we do our asanas every day, if you cannot do twice a day, at least do once a day, do it, move the body, release the tension of the nerves, release the tension of the glands, and you will find your emotions become more stable. Now, this is the part of the glands, and so we have talked about the nerves and we have talked about glands. Anybody, any questions about the glands?
I think Didi Lalita raised her hand.
Oh, please.
Okay, Rudra Mohan, what's the difference between Gomukhasana and the twist pose? Because in both poses, the lower part of the body is kind of being locked up, and the open part of the body, the chest opens up. And you mentioned that in Gomukhasana, it's good for people who have depression. But in the twist pose, it helps with the adrenal glands balance. So could you say a little bit about the differences between these two poses?
Okay.
And the second question of mine is that, is it in general, when the body opens up, it stimulates the sympathetic nerves. And when our body contracts or bends, then it stimulates the parasympathetic nerves.
Okay, the last question is easier. These are reflexes, okay?
Okay.
So when your body opens up, you expose yourself. And so you have to be ready if anybody wants to attack you, because you're vulnerable. So when you stretch out and you open, and anybody wants to throw a bullet at you or shoot you, you're not safe. But let's say you go down, you bend your head, you pull up your knees, and then you bend down your head. This one, you're safe. So this is a natural reflex in the body. And so this one is natural. But you know, in yoga we learn not to be affected by any reflex, by any condition of sympathetic or parasympathetic part. We always try to be above. And I hope you come to, from today's class, you learn that actually when we talk about liberation of the mind, we have to get out of the mud of our propensities. and move all that energy towards Supreme Consciousness. But there is a biopsychological side to it. There's a very practical physiology behind it. And I hope you learn that today, of course, you know, I am not a doctor, okay? I studied for 2 years to be a doctor, but then I got busy with my children's teaching. So I cannot explain this all very complete way. I do my best. But this is something we've been working on for the past 3 years here. And so biopsychology is actually the science of yoga philosophy. And biopsychology uses the language of today to explore the deep meaning of the yoga tradition. And I think this is a very exciting thing. And I think it's important for all of us that if we want to take yoga to the society, yoga is not a religion. Yoga is a science. When you do this pose, it activates sympathetic. When you do this pose, it activates parasympathetic. Mental health is a balance in the sympathetic and parasympathetic. Now, to go back to this first question about the asanas. So we talk about the Gomukhasana, the cow's head pose, and we talk about the twists. And so the twisting pose I mentioned has more effect on the belly area. You know, with yoga poses, you can never say it only works on one area. It works always on the whole body. But there is a main effect of the poses on certain parts of the body. And so when we try to understand the pose and the benefits of the pose, we stress those parts. And so, for example, here, one leg presses over the other, and it inhibits the blood flow, the smooth blood flow to the legs. So that means you get more blood in your upper body. If you have more blood in your upper body, there is a reflex in your body that says, hey, heartbeat, slow down. You don't need to work so hard. There's plenty, blood pressure is high. Okay, so your blood pressure in your top part of the body goes up, and then your heartbeat slows down, means your parasympathetic becomes balanced. But you also stretch out your shoulders and your chest. So actually, what I like about this pose is that it opens up the top part of the body. So it activates the kind of sympathetic response. And at the same time, it also balances the parasympathetic. So depression usually is either you're stuck in parasympathetic or in sympathetic. Now here, this pose balances both ways. So this is something we see all over the world, is that psychologists are now using yoga to help their patients. And I have a hope that one day within Ananda Marga's philosophy, our system, we develop our own therapy program for mental health. And because there is a science, the logic that supports it. Now the spinal twists, of course there is some effect on the lower area, but the main blood flow effect is on the navel. I cannot find the picture of the spinal twist right now. And so the spinal twist, there the blood flow effect is on the navel area. So the biggest thing you have to think about is where does the blood flow? And when the blood flows to the navel, then it's more balancing to the adrenals. When there is a neutral, like this one is neutral for the abdomen, but it's not neutral for the chest. So it opens the chest, activates the muscles here, the blood flow will be stronger here, and that has a stronger effect on the higher hormones, higher glands, while blocking blood flow to the lower glands. And I think that's very beautiful pose, very beautiful. And so anybody who has this tendency to become easily depressed should practice this and do it according to Charya Part 3 guidelines. Keep it for longer. You know, when you go YouTube and you study these things, people don't keep it for a long time. They don't repeat. But if you want to balance your hormone, you have to repeat the poses. So Baba's yoga, Ananda Marga yoga is unique qualities that other yoga systems don't have. I don't know if I answered your question completely.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you.
The main point is keep in mind, where does the blood go? What part of the body am I using? When I stretch and when I relax, where does the blood go? This is the first question. Now, I don't want to talk too much because you will get very tired. But I want to give you a few more points. And so when you look at the pose, the first question is, where does the blood go? Or where doesn't it go? Okay. So the second question is, where does the mind go? Means to say, okay, you twist. Now you're going to twist till you hurt, and you don't want to hurt too much, but you say, oh, stop. This is how much I can do. So there is a little pain. Now, the part of your body where there is pain, that is where your mind goes. And your thoughts go to that part of the body. And it's very interesting. Wherever your mind goes, that is where the body becomes more active. This is an important point. So the first question is, where does the blood go? The second question is, ask yourself, where does my mind go? Where do my thoughts go? And so when you do the shoulder stand, for example, you do the shoulder stand. 1 second. Too many asana pictures. So let's say you do the shoulder stand. Your mind probably goes to, you do the shoulder stand, your mind goes here. And you feel the stretch on your neck. You feel maybe some pressure on your shoulders. This is where your mind goes. So when your mind goes there, that area becomes more active. Now this is something not all scientists agree to, but in psychobiology, and this is, we talk about biopsychology. This is our philosophy. Outside science, they talk about psychobiology. And they focus it on, when you focus your mind on a part of the body, how does the body change? So, for example, this is real, this is scientific research. If you focus your mind, let's say you're bleeding and you have a wound, and you focus your mind on the wound, you can stop the bleeding. Okay? So the mental effort can stop the physical problem. And they run research on this, so that when you focus somewhere, you can change the physiology, you can change the body. And I think this is something in our yoga we also noticed, because we practice this. So when we focus on the chakras, through the focus on the chakra, we change the physiology, we change the glands associated with the chakra. Scientific research says that when you put your focus on the chakra, it changes. There are two kinds of research. One says it changes the level of oxygen in that area. So the oxygen level goes up. The second kind of research is when you focus your mind on a chakra, their electric charge increases. Okay, so the electric charge increases. So means to say that when you focus your mind on a certain part of your body, the physiology can change. Now in our yoga, Baba's yoga, and Baba has some remedies for cancer in Baba's book on Yogika Chikicha. I don't know if you're aware of it, but Baba says that through breathing, focus, you can. So let's say you have cancer in a certain part of your body. Baba says focus on the joint next to that problem and do the breathing. So indirectly, this is how I understand what Baba says. Indirectly, I assume that Baba supports this idea that the mind can change the body. And so when you do your stretching and you feel stretching here and you feel stretching on your hips, then your mind goes here, and then the mind force activates the body and can make it healthy. So this is the second question I think you have to ask. And when you look at an asana, where does the mind go? What does the mind? What can the mind do in this pose? And then, so first question is where does the blood go? The second question is where does the mind go? What does the mind do? And then the third question is the breathing. And after that, you will do your jump, okay? So in yoga, we have slow breathing, and most of our breathing practices are slow. Now, slow breathing is very interesting. When we breathe slowly, in our body, we have CO2 and we have O2, okay, oxygen. So CO2 and O2 have to be balanced. If in our body we have too much O2, the body's pH will change. And it becomes sour and acid. If there is too much CO2, the body becomes alkaline. So the body doesn't like changing pH, and the body wants balance. As you see, the glands have to be balanced, the nerves have to be balanced. The acid alkaline body also has to be balanced. Now, what happens when we do slow breathing? Our lungs are full of CO2, sorry. And so, slow breathing, we have more CO2 in our body. And there is not enough oxygen in the blood flow. So the body will take oxygen from the cells to the blood flow. So what happens if you do slow breathing? Your oxygen goes up. So slow breathing increases the oxygen in our body. Now the beauty of this is that if you have more oxygen, if your body can use more oxygen, more capacity to use oxygen, your heart can slow down. Your heart can slow down. You can use your parasympathetic nerve system more. Your body can be more relaxed. I'm sorry, maybe I'm making you very tired, but this is actually the third part I hope you can learn is about breathing. And then I will break up into rooms. Okay, so the slow breathing increases CO2 in the lungs. Because there is no oxygen in the body, in the blood flow, it will take from the cells, increases oxygen in the blood, and this actually increase overall oxygen in the body. So people have done research and they find that people who practice yoga regularly have 15% higher capacity to absorb oxygen in the body. So do you understand? People who do yoga, slow breathing, they have more capacity to absorb oxygen in the body, hold it in the body, and more than other people, 15% more. Now this benefits because we can slow down the heart, we can slow down the body whole system, and we can be healthy. So you find people who do exercise, marathon people or professional sports people, they like to do yoga because yoga helps them absorb more oxygen, slows down the body, and that way they have more endurance. They don't get tired so quickly. Okay, I talk so much. I think for the science of yoga, this is what all I have to say. I have many things more to say, but I think you will get a headache. I was thinking we break up into rooms, and every room has 2 poses. Okay, and I want to ask you to discuss, and then later you present to everybody here. So every room has 1 leader, and I hope you can analyze the benefits of the pose, what is happening on the body part of the pose, and keep in mind these 3 questions. The breathing, is the natural breathing or controlled breathing? Where does the mind go? Where does the blood go? We give you 10 minutes, okay? So now you have 10 minutes from now, and discuss with each other. I hope Mira can bring everybody back after 10 minutes.
Yes,
Okay?
brother.
Mira.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so we break up into rooms.
Yeah, Brother Krishna will do.
Oh, okay, Trishna is there.
Yeah, for break the rooms.
Krishna.
Open now or later?
Yeah, everybody break up, and then we'll come back in 10 minutes time, okay?
Brother? About open now
Namaskar.
or later?
Namaskar.
Oh, yeah.
And I have a question, brother.
Oh, okay.
Can you repeat again the question that we will do in the break room? I'm sorry, just now I not listen.
Okay. So every group has 2 poses. Everybody's different, okay? So every room has different poses. I like you ask the question, where does the blood flow? The second question is, where does the mind go? Where the mind goes, there is more energy, there's more activity, there's more nutrition. And the third question is the breathing. What kind of breathing is happening? How does the breathing change the body? Does it slow down or does it be active or neutral?
Okay, thank you. I got it.
10 minutes, okay? Trishna, are you there?
Yeah, brother.
Can we break up?
Yes. Open now?
10 minutes, yeah, please.
Oh, 10 minutes.
Dr. Mohan, there will be different DDs in different rooms to take care.
Thank you.
We start discussing. Okay, so let's talk about the Matyasendrasana. As brother already talked about the Matyasendrasana. In Matyasendrasana, blood flow goes towards the upper body area. Upper body area. And then
Didi, are you sure about upper body? It's the twist. I can feel a lot of
side,
pressure on the lower part of the body on Svadhisthana Manipura chakra, also heart, and if you turn the head, also neck. So I would say it's
in the side, area.
Yeah, but I feel in Manipura and Anahata, I think.
So if we twist like this, so but blood flow go in the side, means in the Manipur, means upper area, na?
Yeah, like middle part. Yeah,
in the side.
Maybe Manipura. Also pressed because the legs are twisted. So also like the belly area.
Belly side area, na?
Okay, Didi, can we decide which one later will be present?
Matsyendra's Asana is first.
Didi, sorry. Before start, we decide who later will be giving the presentation. You will do? Yeah. Okay, namaskar, Didi. Namaskar. Yes. So what are the two poses that we need to discuss for the group?
We have two pictures. Didi có thể nói tiếng Việt.
Đây là Didi người Việt à?
Đúng rồi ạ.
Dạ.
Bên ngoài đang có thợ đang sửa trường, chắc là sẽ ồn một tí nên mọi người thông cảm nhé.
Dạ.
Thì nhóm của chúng ta thì Dada cho hai tư thế đúng không? Là tư thế Siwa, cái tư thế là cái tư thế sau cái tư thế shoulder stand ấy, là cái tư thế đứng trên vai, nhưng mà nó là cái sau đó cái tư thế đầu bò đúng không? Và Dada hỏi là khi mà chúng ta làm hai cái tư thế này thì cái blood flow của mình thì
那个
公司是什么来？
公式呢？it's like a bowl. You know bowl? You lie flat on your chest.
OK， 这个是锄头式。
这是锄头式，
就是它基本上就是肩立式一半，肩立式的一半，它的脚是往后，所以这个是锄头式。然后我们现在找的是公式。
Didi， 我们可以先谈一下这个锄头式。你看这个锄头式，从照片看到呢，它的那个 chin， 就是说它的那个头部是压缩到，就是它的那个下巴是尽量紧贴到它的胸部的，所以呢，它是压缩我们的甲状腺，对吗，弟弟？你看我
们就从他的那个问题，从那个老师的问题一个一个来看，就是说 ，OK， 第一个就是他血液是。
pada rakyatnya saja karena kamera ya.
Oke. Jadi gerakan pertama itu
ya namanya Sarwangasana dikatakan pada Mutendra pakai bahasa Yoga Namaga katanya. Sarwangasana bahasa Inggrisnya soldier stand.
Waktunya lagi 3 menit.
Ya. Jadi pikiran ini di mana ini? Mohon Didi bantu dan semuanya berapa orang kita di sini, ada 17.
Kalau fokusnya itu gimana ya? Kalau menurut saya di teroid karena lagi
fokusnya.
Pak Mutendra yang senior saya.
Iya.
Jadi biasanya kalau pada saat ini fokusnya kalau kakinya ke atas kan fokus pikiran itu di ujung kaki, ujung jempol kan. Tapi kalau ini biasanya di kening ya. Biasanya kalau saya seperti itu. Fokusnya di kening
di sela-sela betis jadinya ya, brother. Bukan di kening ya.
Apanya?
Fokus pikiran kita. Kan gitu ya kalau bicara fokus. pikiran di mana, berarti kalau kaki lurus Saravahasana itu soldier stand, pikiran berada di
Okay, we will talk later. Otherwise, 10 minutes.
Yeah, let's continue with the rabbit pose. So
Yeah.
rabbit pose goes to the crown of the head, right? When we do rabbit pose, for sure it's there.
Blood flow goes to the head.
Knee. I think the knees also have some pressure.
Leg and head. Leg
Yeah.
and
Legs and head.
yeah, legs and head.
And the mind? Head.
Mine goes to the head, yeah. Top of the head.
It's hold the breathing.
Yeah, this is slowing down, yeah. When
cái tác dụng tương tự như là đối với cái tư thế đứng trên vai. Và ngoài ra khi mà cái chân của mình ấy, cái chân của mình cross ấy, cái chân của mình xếp ở cái hoa sen ấy, nó còn có tác dụng đến tuyến tụy nữa. Đấy, thì cái này thì vừa nãy Dada nói đúng không, thì nó thuộc vào cái hệ kinh phó giao cảm và cả hệ thần kinh giao cảm nữa, giao cảm và phóng giao cảm. Tâm trí thì tập trung ở đây, cái máu của mình lưu thông này.
Yang ada di dalam tubuh. Tadi karena terjemahan Indonesia juga agak putus-putus, jadi bisa jelaskan nggak kalau yang slow breathing itu menyebabkan banyaknya CO2 yang ada dalam di jantung ya? Di mana tadi?
Di lungs, di paru-paru.
Di paru-paru.
Iya. Iya.
Lalu bagaimana agar kita mendapatkan oksigen tadi itu, ya itu yang saya kurang jelas tadi.
Kalau saya pikir sewaktu slow breathing itu mengumpulkan CO2 karbon dioksida di paru-paru, kemudian
O2-nya di darah.
Jadinya lebih banyak oksigen di darah. Itu juga agak kurang jelas buat saya.
Itu kalau napasnya slow breathing, CO2-nya lebih di paru-paru. Karena CO2 lebih di paru-paru, dia lebih alkaline. Apa itu alkaline?
Alkaline itu kalau lebih banyak oksigen.
Ya, dan kalau slow breathing itu sel-sel darah itu lebih banyak O2-nya gitu.
Iya.
Kalau paru-paru lebih banyak O2-nya malah nanti menjadi asam.
Iya. Iya, sebenarnya itu kurang jelas itu belum terlalu lengkap kalau saya pikir. Kalau menurut
kayak aktif atau rileks. Oh gitu.
Iya.
Ini pertanyaan bagi kita nih. Menurut saya nih, ini baru bagi saya ini, apakah napas yang aktif apa rileks dipakai ini saat
pose ini gimana ya? Normal sih kayak.
Ini Sri Krisnayani ini angkat tangan, silakan, mungkin pendapatnya silakan.
Kembali kok.
Sri Krisnayani. Belum balik. Oke. Baik, itu mungkin idenya sudah dapat ya, satu untuk Saravahasana ini. Kemudian ini tentang Gomukhasana. Ya, tadi udah dijelaskan tuh sama Brother Ruda Mohan. Ya. Jadi fokusnya, pernapasannya sudah dijelaskan tadi sama Brother Rudra Mohan.
Bisa ulang biar saya jelas lagi, betul-betul apa tentang pikirannya di mana nih? Gimana penjelasan pikiran tentang
pose? The blood goes to the head area and also to the legs. can be to the knees. Mind goes for sure to the top of the head, and the breath is controlled. How do you say it? Controlled breath, and holding the breath after the exhalation is slowing us down.
Yeah, for me, in Satsangasana, mind goes to the knees also, na? Sometimes, in some cases. Head and knees.
Really, the mind.
Quick. Actually, we didn't finish in our group on the second pose.
We are almost to the end.
Me too, but times is very short, right?
Time is over.
Our group is ready, brother.
So we can start with room 1.
Okay,
can you share what happened in your room? Can you share?
Namaskar. We discussed 2 poses. It's the twist, Matsyendrasana, and the hair pose, Shashangasana. So first one, the twist, we decided that it has a neutral effect on us, on our body and mind, and the blood goes to the belly area as this area is squeezed with the position of the legs and the twist, and maybe to the side of the belly area. So we do both directions. Mind goes depending on the person. We discussed, and each one says that it's completely different. For some, it's to the legs, hips even, belly area, chest, shoulders. So it can be even in any area depending on maybe the problem point of the person. And the breath is natural here, but it is slow. So maybe the breath is like neutral or a little bit slowing down. So this is how we feel this posture. Like in general, like neutral effect, slowing breath and opening the chest. I continue with the next one.
Maybe I can.
Or you want to comment? Yeah.
So actually, there were many good points, and everybody observation of course is subjective, right? So it's not everybody's body is different, and there is one thing that I wanted to add is that because it opens the chest, if you twist properly, it actually opens the chest. So because you block here the blood flow, I wouldn't say it's neutral, I would say it moves upwards. And while doing the pose, and then releasing the pose, it will go back to the abdominal area. And the second thing is about the breathing, and the diaphragm is being pressurized because the lung area becomes squeezed. So your lungs will push down your diaphragm on the stomach area, and that's one benefit. You know, we usually say if you do this pose and your appetite is too good or your appetite is too low, this pose helps to balance it. And one reason is because the diaphragm is going to pressure the stomach, and the stomach is sensitive to mechanistic pressure, means to physical pressure, and the glands, they don't care about whether you press them or not, but the stomach and the intestines, they are sensitive to external pressure, so that affects the stomach functioning. Thank you, Father. Second one, Shashangasana.
So in this position, blood goes to the head and also to the legs too, but mostly to the head. The mind goes to the top of the head, crown of the head, and also depending on the person, some say that also the knees, depending on the personal, Yeah, and in this position we hold the breath after we exhale, so we are quite sure that it is a cooling breath, slowing down. So in general, this position is like cooling and relaxing.
Okay. Yeah, I think very nice. So again here you exhale when you go down. So you pull in your stomach. And this again has an activating effect on the digestive system. Actually, there are a lot of, when you go into detail of these poses, there is so much to learn. And then, because we repeat a pose, every 8 seconds we go up and we go down. So again, to the lymphatic flow, this is also beneficial. Okay, thank you very much. Wonderful. Okay, room 2.
Not yet here. Can I take your time, brother? No other rooms are here.
Okay.
Brother, you say, can I ask?
Oh, you want to ask? Okay.
As you said, every gland have the subglands. Every glands have the subglands according to Baba also, and the subglands are called and every gland have the cells, and that cells are called the subglands, right? Am I right? I just want to confirm the glands cells are called the subglands.
Well, in the scientific community, people don't talk about subglands. But if you want to know the official name, it's called the diffused endocrine system.
Diffused endocrine system.
DES, or sometimes it's called diffused endocrine neural system. So these are individual cells that secrete hormones. And because I asked myself a long time, what does Baba mean with subglands, And
yeah, first time also hearing about that, brother. The cells are called the subglands. Yeah. Glands,
And because Baba has his own expression, so then I asked the other dadas and whatever, and I asked people, and then they would say, these are glands that have not yet been discovered. But then later on, in the process of this study, I found that there is something called diffused endocrine system. And you can check online, I don't know what you can find, but there are many individual cells that have a local function but affect our immune system very much. And so like what I mentioned before, if you don't squeeze the tissues of your body, and if you don't keep the circulation going to every cell, every corner of your body, then these places become inactive and they become places where cancers can grow. So that's why in the last 15-20 years, people have started to focus because they see these tumors are growing where before there were no problems. So movement, and especially like yoga movement, we actually, every corner of the body gets kind of squeezed, and this one benefits that the subgland, what I would call subgland, okay, I don't know if this is really what Baba says, but I assume, because this is a glandular system that is below, under the main glandular system.
Thank you, brother.
Okay, room 2.
Room 2, please get ready.
Just call by the name Balinese room or Indonesian room, not the number.
Sorry, because the sequence is being changed. I can't remember. Anyway, we just go according to the
language. Okay.
Yeah.
Indonesia room. Oh, sorry.
Indonesia room, welcome.
Okay, Indonesian room is we got Dirga Pranam. So Dirga Pranam, the blood flows towards the chest areas, and because the pressure is on the stomach, and then towards the head, yes, and then the mind goes to the. I feel the mind goes to the stomach because you feel the pressure there, stomach and the lower back. And the breathing is slow breathing, and with the inhaling and holding for the 8 seconds. So it's a slow breathing, and yeah. So that's for Dirga Pranam.
Okay, can I add a few points? So I didn't mention before. Inhalation stimulates sympathetic nerves. Exhalation stimulates parasympathetic. Okay, so this pose, exhale. So exhalation, if we can keep it, it stimulates the parasympathetic. You mentioned the main focus is maybe abdomen.
Yes.
I don't know. Maybe I'm an old man, so. Little stiffness in the lower back. My mind goes here, and anyway, it's up.
That's two also. So the abdominal and the lower back on the hips. Yes.
Two more points. Two more points. Very interesting. You see, the forehead goes on the floor. Now this is called the heart vagal reflex. Heart, vagal means vagus, reflex means the vagus nerve will tell the heart to slow down. So when you put the forehead, like when you want children sleep in the school, lunchtime they put the forehead on the table. Actually, it relaxes their body naturally. So this reflex happens here also. And
yes.
And the second point I want to add, which I didn't mention before, the toes. And the toes are pointed forward. Now, in our toes, we have something that scientists call nociceptors. 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 Nociceptors are sensitive to external pressure. And so actually when we do kirtan, when we do dance lalita, when we press the big toe on the floor, actually from Western point of view, we stimulate the cells, the nerve cells, the nociceptors, and this activates the whole nerve system. So one side we relax, and other side is our mind stays alert. And very beautiful actually pose also. I will put
Nociceptor. Can you repeat nociceptor, brother?
I will type it in the chat group. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, nociceptor. This is actually we have them all over the body, but in this pose, they. Nociceptors.
Okay.
Thank you. Please, the second pose.
Okay, the second pose is Matsyendrasana. Is the fist pose, not Matsyendrasana. Is the fist pose, and the blood flows towards the head and the neck, and then the mind goes to where the pressure is, which is on the top of the head, and also I feel it on the, the joints of the legs. It's actually all over. The whole spine also feel the pressure. The mind goes all over for me, I feel. And then the breathing is a slow breathing. We are having the normal breathing, no holding the breath. Yeah, that's it.
So the Matsya Mudra. Got it. So here Matsya Mudra, you said pressure
is on the head, top of the head, and the neck.
Neck, yeah. So actually, I was wondering, because usually people don't say this, but it must affect our thyroid glands also. What do you think?
Yes, that's why it's part of the neck, the thyroid.
Okay, yeah. So the thyroid, because usually we do this with the shoulder stand. Now, with the blood flow, where does it go? I didn't hear you, sorry. The blood flow.
Also towards the head. For me, I feel it's towards the head.
Yeah. So for example, in this pose, he does it with the Padmasana. So the Padmasana pressurizes the arteries to the legs. So the blood flow to the legs get blocked. So what happens here is there's less blood here, means there's more blood here.
Yes.
When there's more blood here, your body will tell, oh, the blood pressure is coming up. I don't need to work so hard. So actually it lowers the heartbeat. It slows down the heartbeat. Okay? So again, this creates more awareness in the pose. And I see many of Baba's poses have this effect, that one way it can be, activate certain higher points and then slows the heartbeat.
Yeah, I feel that every postures, every asanas is slowing the heartbeat all for me. So the active breathing is only when doing the aerobic, the sport stuff.
Yeah, right. So actually, Baba, our Guru mentioned that in Charya, the poses he selected are indispensable for sadhana. And so actually I think it's one reason maybe why he chose. Thank you very much. Okay, next.
Okay, the next will be Vietnamese group, please.
Balinese not yet, no?
Not yet, Didi.
Ya, bisa. Yang siap Balinese siap nggak?
No, Vietnam is Didi Mahashaita, Lalita, Vietnam group.
Yes, I am here. I'm just waiting for them.
Okay, sister, time is yours.
Sarita or Sister Lalita can say.
Namaskar, Sister. I think Sister Anuradha, she can. Anuradha. Yes.
Hồi nãy tôi thấy gì bằng tiếng Phạn á, chị quên này.
Krishna, I'm so good. Namaskar.
Namaskar. We discussed about the two poses because it's in the Sanskrit name, Sarvangasana.
Sarvangasana.
Sarvangasana B.
B, yeah, B. The number B. Yeah. The plus is go to the head and the shoulder and the head. So it's affect the gland around the neck, and the And yes,
the pressure.
Yeah, the pressure. So the pressure is on the shoulder. On the shoulder. And yeah, it's a fact.
You concentrate. The concentration of the mind.
Yeah, thank you. The concentration is we focus. We focus on the toes. On the toe, we look at on the toes and the breath, the breathing, and we breathe in normal. Exhale and exhale normal, and we do it like eight times.
You do it so many times. You do it 8 times.
How many times? 8 times.
Talk to Didi. Anyway, very good. Thank you. Actually, this pose is very interesting because it's inverted. So like Anuradha, she mentioned, the blood flow is going down. So again, here there is more blood flow to the chest, so the heart actually will slow down. And so this is a very good pose to prevent heart blood pressure problem. If somebody already has blood pressure, maybe not so safe to do this pose. But to prevent heart disease, this is very useful. In our studio here, in our classrooms here, we have people, they came in with normal heartbeat of 130 plus. And then practicing yoga, their heartbeat slowed down to 85 and become their normal. So they don't like yoga, but they come because it regulates their heartbeat. And so here our drishti, our main focus point is on the pose. Actually, one reason why we have the drishti, of course there are many reasons, and I don't know all the reasons, but one reason is that the focus of our eyes also affects what nerve system we activate. So when our eyes, let's say you sit up and your eyes look down, your eyes like this in this pose, your eyes look down to your nose or to your chest, it activates the parasympathetic. And when your eyes look up and outward, it activates sympathetic. When your eyes look to the left, it activates right side of your brain. When your eyes look to the right, it activates left side of your brain. So the eye movement affects our nerves. It's very interesting. So we look at the tip of the pose. Another interesting thing I saw somewhere in Baba's article is because it's inverted pose, actually all the chakras become relaxed. And so that's why it is considered Sarvanasana. It's good for the whole body. Thank you. And the second pose, this one is the second pose.
The second one is we discussed about the Gomukhasana.
Go ahead.
Gomukhasana, yeah. It will the pressure is also the pressure is also go to the head. The blood go to the head.
The head, the leg.
The blood is blood.
The shoulder.
Head and shoulder. Okay. Head and shoulder. The both head and leg and hand are blown, and so we can focus we can focus on the chest open, and the chest open. We breathe in normal, And the focus point is to eyes focus ahead. One point ahead. And the nerve system active is both the sympathetic nervous system and parasympathetic nervous system.
Thank you, very nice. Actually, the point you mentioned again about the eyes. Let's say you have a student who suffers from depression. It is advised not to close the eyes when they do asana practice. And they should look up or look out, not close the eyes, because if they close the eyes, for some people with depression, will increase their depression problems. And unlike this case, we look up and we look forward, so it activates the sympathetic system. Very nice. Thank you. Thank you. Scott. Any next group?
Excuse me, brother, is here in the chat rooms there is one question from Sister Tejaswini. So is Sarvasana good for both high and low blood pressure? Sakit.
Well, if you shoulder stand, we don't do it when you have high blood pressure. And so if you already have high blood pressure, then we don't do shoulder stand. But to prevent, it is beneficial and it releases pressure on the heart. So if somebody has blood pressure and wants to get some of the benefits, we do the legs against the wall. And this kind of pose, or meditation, breathing, depends on the person. Low blood pressure. But low blood pressure, the main thing is you have to go very slow, moving in a pose or out of a pose. I wouldn't know actually if shoulder stand can help with low blood pressure. But let's say if somebody has low blood pressure, there can be many causes, maybe diet, lifestyle, maybe also exercise, maybe more dynamic exercise. I would use more sympathetic stimulating poses. But there's the shoulder stand and the fish, and they work on the thyroid, so this is a must in every. And of course, maybe also pituitary. I think they also work on the other glands, the pineal and the pituitary. Fish and shoulder stand are we should do every day.
Brother Rudra Mohan, in yogic treatment book, Baba recommended action pose Kamasana to regulate the blood pressure problems.
Thank you. Is low blood pressure or high blood pressure?
I do not know about high blood pressure, but I know about low blood pressure.
So actually, Karmasana is enervating. So I will show you the picture if you're not familiar. Actually, Karmasana is an exercise. It takes 16 minutes if you really want to do it properly. And it's quite enervating. So here. So DDG mentioned this pose, and so this goes 8 times, and this goes 8 times. So when you add it all up, it takes 16 minutes. If you want to do it completely. And for these poses, you have to keep in mind that you know what is so beautiful. Baba actually says pelvis shouldn't move, so it moves the chest here, left and right. And it opens the chest, sympathetic, then it lowers the body, parasympathetic. So actually it is really all stimulating. You can see the logic behind Baba's recommendation. Now here again, we sit down, the toes are forward, so it stimulates the nerve set, means it stimulates actually the whole circulation. This whole set helps circulation. Thank you. Okay.
Sorry, brother. Karmasana have to practice 4 rounds. 4 round means the 4 round is the standing 4 and the sitting 4 means it's 1.
Okay, thank you. So 4 and 4, 8, right? So together 8. So it's not 16 minutes. Anyway, it's quite a practice. Thank you, Didi.
Okay, I think it's enough, brother, right?
Yeah.
We will continue with the next room, Balinese room.
Namaskar. Yeah, I would like to present the Balinese room. Yeah, the first posture about the Sarvangasana with the cross leg, brother Mohan, can you see? Yeah, with the cross leg.
You just go ahead.
Yeah, okay. The blood flow goes to the neck and also to our throat. And about the breathing will affect the body become relaxed. And the mind goes to our throat, going to the location. This is the first poses, the Sarvangasana with the cross leg. And the second one about with the cross leg. Yeah. That's my the explanation from our group, brother. Please evaluate. Yeah.
So, I only have one question. What is the difference between this one and the leg straight? How would you analyze the difference?
The focus of our concentration with the straight feet focus in the middle of the toes. Yeah. Our focus is, and the one focus in the middle of the leg. What I understanding like that, brother. Is right?
Okay, yeah, maybe. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. Nice point. Yeah, okay. I would say it's blocked. Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Okay.
It means it loosens the knees up here, and I think it puts more pressure here. This pose needs more abdominal strength.
Yes.
And so it helps the digestion more, and I think it also increases blood pressure more, so it slows down the heart more compared to the normal Sarvangasana.
Okay, thank you. And the second yoga pose about the Gomukhasana. Yeah, the cow head. Yeah, already explained, yeah, my brother.
Sorry.
We got the same yoga pose, yeah. You explained already, yeah. No, then I explain again.
Yeah, we like to hear you.
Oh, okay. About this yoga pose, yeah, regarding the blood flow, move to the back of the spinal cord and the belly, and mostly in the belly, our stomach. Then the breathing affect relaxation of breathing. So little bit also because open the chest, affecting the sympathetic nerves, because open the chest, make the chest become open. And the mind, actually, what I understanding, this mind goes to in the middle of eyebrow, because this makes the more concentrate our mind in the middle eyebrow. Maybe this much, brother. Can I explain? Thank you.
Very beautiful. I think it's wonderful. So actually you see the energy flow is upwards, and so it kind of slows down this area and moves the energy up. Thank you. Okay. Very nice.
Okay, the last one, we have one room more, Chinese room. The time is your.
Namaskar. So in our group, there are two asanas. The first one is halasana. So the blood is go to the neck, the throat, this area, and it's choke this area. And the focus is on the belly and on the back and the neck. It depends on which area is painful that the people may focus in. Yeah, thank you, Dadaji. Yeah,
it's
so
not in the wrong pose.
At least,
the hands. This
hand,
is
the hand.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, here.
Halasana. Yes. Okay, so the focusing is on the neck, and also the eyes. You look at the belly, and the back. I think if the person have a lower back pain, so they may focus on that area. So the knee also probably. The breathing is pretty slow. So it's activate parasympathetic because it's an introvert. Yeah, it's an introversion movement. But in this posture, the arm is put behind, so maybe in that area also activate the sympathetic nerve. So this is just my guess.
Okay, that's interesting. You know, I don't know, but my experience is that by putting the hands on the floor, it takes away pressure from the shoulder. So it's less painful or less stressful for beginners, and easier to keep balance, because some people, they cannot bring the legs completely down. So yeah, actually Baba also says that this pose can increase the belly size, so because it puts pressure on the abdomen, the belly may burst out a little. So this is also interesting. I think your explanation very nice. Thank you. It's an introverted pose. And I think you have noticed in Ananda Marga asanas, we have many poses like this. We have Shivasana, Halasana, Ardha Shivasana, Sarvanasana. We have many poses that work like this. Okay.
The second one we did not complete. We did not complete the discussion. The second one is Dhanurasana.
Which one?
Dhanurasana.
Tuladantasana. It's a balancing pose, right?
No. It's a bow. It's a bow.
Oh, Dhanurasana.
Dhanurasana.
Oh, okay. Well, let's talk about it.
So, yes. The blood flow goes to the belly, but some of the sisters, their opinion is on the whole body, because the arm is holding the ankle. So that's it, lock the whole body. So their opinion is lock the blood flow is going through the whole body.
Yeah.
But the main pressure is on the belly. And the focus point is because if the eyes is open, so the person is looking forward, and the focus is on the lower back, and also the shoulderless part also. Yeah. So this is the mind may focus on front and lower back and the shoulder, this part, knee. I think the knee also. Yeah. So it's this is the extroversion movement. So it's activate the sympathetic.
Good, you're good.
Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. I think the point is very good, and I think that people have different opinions because people have different bodies. So we do the same pose, but we experience the pose in different ways. And I think one important point is that people in yoga talk a lot about alignment, and I think what in Ananda Marga yoga we like inner alignment. So you go with you observe and become aware what is happening in your body and send love and compassion to every part of your body. And I think it may happen maybe like in this pose, maybe it's in the lower back, maybe it's in the knees. But finally, I think you will find the peace in the pose and the beauty. And I think the practice is an art and a science. And I think we cannot expect everybody to do the same pose in the same way. And so, like sometimes in my class, I look around and I see everybody's doing different, And then and I think I'm not a good teacher, but then I think, everybody has their own situation. And I think if we focus on the inner effects, we can allow different ways of practicing. But just keep in mind, and so for example, if you pressurize the forehead in the like Dirga Pranam, your body has a reflex to slow down the body. If you do the shoulder stand and you see the student cannot bring the chin to the chest, try to find a way to adjust so they get this reflex that the heart will slow down. And so there are certain reflexes you hope they can do. In case you see they cannot do, then they don't get that benefit. It's also okay, maybe they can do it at a later stage. And I think it is very good to go step by step. Now, I'm very happy so far, and we have done some research. And I think the main point I try to bring across is that asanas practice changes our body's chemistry. It changes the nerves, it changes the hormones, the blood flow, and the lymph flow. So through these changes, we have different feelings. And sometimes I go to the class and why I become kind of, I feel a little tired, maybe I was doing other things. But after class, I always feel so full of gratefulness and love and patience. So the asanas change how we think. Now, this idea is not unique to yoga. In Western science, there are also psychologists who support this view that the body creates mental states. If you're interested in your teacher's guide, in your workbook, I have explained there on the English version, it is page 13. There is a very famous psychologist called Paul Ekman, and he says that the body has 8 primal emotions. And so the physical body can express 8 emotions. And he talks about happiness, sadness, fear, disgust. I don't know if you have the teacher's workbook. So there are 8 emotions in his philosophy, in his approach, and these are his 8 emotions. So he says the body cannot express more. than 8 emotions. There is another psychologist, and if you're interested, I will send the name to the chat. And he's also a very interesting person. He also says that the body creates the emotion, but it is the brain that experiences the emotion. Okay, so the body will have changes, and these changes affect how we think, and then when we realize what we think, we can feel the emotion. And so he says you need a brain to experience this emotion. The main point I want to make is that psychologists have similar ideas, but their ideas are not as developed as in our yoga system, because in yoga we say our body creates 50 propensities, and these propensities can be expressed in different ways. So actually we come to 1,000, and this I don't want to go now in detail. So we have many more. So it's a little bit like if you look at the piano. Okay, so the scientists, they say there are 8 emotions, and you can like a simple small piano. But yoga, we actually expand this piano to 50 emotions, 50 propensities for emotions. And so our approach is much wider, and so whereas modern science doesn't see that, according to Baba's idea, and this is Raja Yoga, this goes back to Ashtavakra. So there are 50 propensities, and Baba says in future we will have more propensities. And so in future there will be new emotions and new expressions developing. Now, to learn about these emotions, we made some cards, and I don't know if you have a set of these cards. And because we have still half an hour, and so before lunch I was thinking we learn a little bit about the cards, and then we take a break, and then we continue in the afternoon. I want to ask you to first take out your chakra cards. Okay, so you got them? Let me see. So your chakra cards have these circles. Yeah, very nice. So this one, this is the center at the base of the spine, and it's not connected to any glands, but it's the Muladhara chakra. So you can see there are 1, 2, 3, 4 petals, right? Every petal expresses one propensity. Okay, so every petal is a kind of the feeling. It can create a feeling in your mind, but we call it propensity. Okay, so this is the first chakra, the base of the spine. The second chakra is, I made it a little bit like water color, because the first chakra is golden, supposed to be golden, the earth. The second is where in yoga we have the Swadhisthana chakra. How many petals do you see? 6, right? So here are 6 emotions. And so 6 propensities for emotions. So here this is connected to the gonads, to the male-female glands. Then we go to the third chakra. The third chakra is red, Can you see there are 10 petals? 10 petals. So the higher we go, more energy, the more refined the expression becomes. The heart chakra, 12 petals. There are 12. And then there comes the throat chakra, Vishuddha chakra, with 16 petals. And then we have the Agya chakra, the third eye, with two petals. And then the last chakra, the Sahasrara, we have 1,000 petals. And so the yoga philosophy teaches that if you want to control all the propensities, if you want to control all the expressions of the glands and the nerves, then you can only control them from your crown of your head. So in our philosophy, mental health only develops when you unite with infinity. There's no mental health without supreme consciousness. And this is a very, actually, we feel it's very special. You know, I always say yoga is a psychology. Yoga is psychology, it's how to deal with the mind. And yoga idea says, if you want to mental balance, you have to connect with your supreme consciousness, with infinity. Traditionally, this has always been the idea of psychology, even in the Western countries. And today, people say, oh, you can fix yourself. There's so many books that say, oh, you can heal yourself, you can fix yourself. Yoga's idea is, yeah, you can manage yourself, but real mental peace is only through connection with Supreme Consciousness. And so the idea of the spiritual goal, creating mental peace, that idea was always there in Western psychology till about 200-300 years ago. And then people said, no, we can use rationality, we can solve our own problem. Now, the idea of our yoga philosophy is that we can balance our emotions here through our asana practice. And so our guru teaches that through asanas we can reduce and control and manage the effect of our glands on the mind. Now, to get a little bit more idea about this, I want you to look at this picture. So here is our mind. So here is what we think. Now what we think affects our brain. So our mind sends a thought to the brain. The brain has an effect, for example, affects the gland. Our glands affect the subglands, and the subglands, they express the emotion, the physical condition for the emotion. And so, for example, we see somebody stealing our bicycle, we send a message to the brain. The brain says, oh no, we have to catch the thief. Our adrenal glands become active, our subglands become active, we become angry, we become hatred, or maybe we develop a fear, whatever, subglands become active, and that emotional impression again affects our mind. Okay, so you see, it's a cycle. What we think affects the brain. What the brain experiences affects the glands. What the glands experience affects the subgland, become an emotion, and the emotion imprints the mind. So what we would call, it becomes a new memory, a new samskara. So this is a cycle. So I don't know if you've experienced, but if you get angry one time, it's very easy to get angry the second time or the third time. So if you have this emotional cycle going, your mind has this imprint of the emotion, and it becomes a new thought that affects the brain. So it is a cycle, it's a loop. And so that's why we keep on repeating our same behavior. Now the yoga system wants to break the loop. Okay, so one way to break the loop is through meditation. So if there is anger in the mind, or if there's jealousy in the mind, train the mind to let go of this anger. Create a love feeling, peace feeling, sweetness in the brain, in the mind, sorry. So the next time you see somebody doing something wrong, you don't send angry message to your brain. You can send a different message. So one way is meditation. In meditation, we retrain the mind. Okay? Of course, there are many other things to say. The second thing is food. Our glands get stimulated by food. And so, for example, if we eat onion, it increases testosterone. Testosterone is the male hormone. And so when you eat onion, you get more testosterone in your body. It disturbs your hormonal balance, and it creates different emotions. If you eat meat, it increases estrogen, the female hormone. And so the food affects our hormones, and these hormones affect how we feel. So one way to change the function of our glands is changing our food. And like durian also increases estrogen. And so in some cultures, if you have no baby and you want to have a baby, the women are advised to eat durian. So it can increase the estrogen. And so many of these foods that have this strong effect is we avoid in our yoga system. So in the yoga system, we avoid the foods that disturb our biochemical balance. And so we only like to take food that's good for the mind. Now another way to deal with your glands is through your asanas. And so one way is the mind, one is the food, and one is your asanas. So you practice your asanas, you change your glands and your subglands, and this one affects how emotion may arise or may not arise. So again, I want to repeat. We are on a loop. So we have fear, we have deep fear in our mind that we send to the brain. It affects the glands, and the body absorbs that fear. And so this is something you can blame yourself for. This is also something we inherit from our parents and even from our grandparents. For example, if let's say our grandmother sees the war, our grandmother sees violence, murder. Our grandmother sees destruction of the home. This becomes a trauma, and this trauma becomes physical, not only mental, it becomes physical. It changes even the genes. Now when this grandmother gives birth, that chemical imbalance will be there in the mother. Now the mother, when she is born, she already has the ovums for their whole life. So the ovums also have this chemical imbalance. So she will pass this chemical imbalance to her baby. So trauma is physical. And this trauma that is passed on to us becomes where we repeat our emotions. Just like our grandmothers, our mothers, they were stuck in the emotions. We repeat whatever they were going through. Okay, so this cycle, and it may not be the cycle that comes from our own personal thinking. It may be something that comes from the family. And in yoga philosophy, we call this imposed samskara, inborn samskara. You can say like that, or you can say acquired. Actually, I don't know. This would be acquired samskara. This you get from your family. And so this memory is physical, it's biochemical. And so the children, they may experience many of the emotional problems of their parents and their grandparents. Now, in yoga, we don't care where it comes from. We can break it through the cycle. So we can do our meditation, we can change our diet, and we can do our asanas. And this is how we try to block the flow of this cycle and develop a new consciousness. I want to ask if anybody has any questions about it. Oh, there is a question from Arun in the chat group. Arun, I will answer this later, okay? Why Buddhism doesn't emphasize us. So does anybody have a question about this cycle? And why do we repeat emotions? Because there are some samskaras in our mind. There is a habit of thinking, physical habit of the brain, the glands, and the sub-glands. Now we want to change that. We want to break this cycle. We don't want to feed the cycle. We want to break it. Any questions about this?
May I ask the question that when we talk chakra and how it deal about gland and sub-gland or this physical thing?
The connection between chakra and
yeah, because chakra is a kind of term of the center of energy, but when physically, how is connecting?
I was trying to avoid this question. Chakras are very complicated, but today I want to focus on biopsychology. So let's look at the physiology of chakras. Okay, so I don't want to go in the mystical side, esoteric side. I like to focus only on the physical, what science thinks about chakras. Is that okay, Didi?
Yes, it's very fine, yes.
Yeah, because I'm afraid that some people will feel lost. Give me 1 second, I prepared the posters. we go back to our nerve system. The chakras you know, these are theories, okay? And but our guru also says the chakras we can call plexus. Okay? Baba says plexus. And the plexus consists of nerves and glands. Now, when you look at this picture, I don't know if you can see it, but for example here, in the chest area, you see a whole bunch of nerves coming out of the spine, and this is the autonomic nerve system. So here, this is the Anahata chakra location. And this is also the location for all these nerves. Navel area, we have another concentration, and then we have concentration in the sacrum and the base of the spine. Now, here you see less in the throat. And the throat area doesn't have this many autonomic nerves coming out. So the theory is that the throat area is more under control of the brain than the autonomic nerve system. And later when we see the propensities, we will find that most propensities here actually are not so much connected to the body or to the body identity. And so let's focus here. Here you have the heart chakra, here you have Manipura, Swadhisthana, and then Muladhara. So the theory is that the physical counterpart of the chakras are in the nerves. Now, one theory is how can thought affect the nerves? Because this is the point, and this is the whole question. How does our mind affect the body? And this morning I told you, that you focus somewhere in your body, you can stop living. How? People really don't know. Now, there is one professor, he's a Marghi professor. This is simplified, okay? This is very, very simplified. His theory is, when you have these nerve cells, in the between one nerve and another nerve, there is a gap, and that is called the synaptic gap. Now, when you have a concentration of many nerves in one area, you have the synaptic gaps. Now, the theory is, when you bring thought to the synaptic gap, you can affect the nerve function. Okay, so this is very simple explanation, but actually I feel it's very logical. I don't know how you feel about it, but again I repeat, like when you see here, there is a concentration of nerves coming out of the spine. Now the theory is that when there is a concentration of nerve, concentration of synaptic gaps, when you focus on the heart of that gap, of the heart of that bundle of nerves, you can change the nerve function. Now this we have seen, and we have talked about thought is energy, thought is electricity, and thought is electricity. So you can, with your thoughts, with our thoughts, we can change this one. So I don't know if you have learned in meditation higher lessons, but in the higher lessons, we learn to focus on the chakras. And we are taught to focus on the heart of the chakra. So when we focus on the heart of the chakra, we change the nerve function. The nerve function is changed, we affect the glands. This is one theory. And I feel it makes sense, at least for now. You know, science is always like this. They come up with one answer, And then one answer will bring up 10 more questions. So it is a journey. So there is no definite, oh, this is it. This now we can stop doing research. But I think this, I have seen in the scientific papers that people accept this idea. It makes sense. And so the connection between thought and nerves can be through the synaptic gap. And this idea started with research on Chinese medicine and acupuncture. And so in acupuncture, you press a point with a needle, and then it changes how that area acts. So here, that same idea has been applied to the chakra. Now, I took this idea one step further because we have, you know, this is our chakra, the center of the chakra. Here are the bundle of nerves. But if you look at it, you see the bundle of nerves starts from the center and spreads out and becomes a very big area. My idea is that, okay, here is the heart of your chakra, your nerve center. Here you focus. Now, but the periphery, the outside, there are also nerves. And these nerves are connected to the sub-glands, in my theory. And so when we do meditation here. When there is higher meditation, we learn to do meditation on the sub-glands. And so through the mental force, we draw in all those sub-gland energy into the Sushumna. And so this is the little bit, I was trying to talk about this because I don't know what you think, but I feel it makes sense. And for now, it helps us in our meditation.
Yes, yes. Thank you very much. Yeah, I feel it gets some connection. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and I think this is the point. You know, scientists keep on talking. The main thing is we have to inspire ourselves for our own meditation. This is the real point. We don't need this knowledge. You know, one time I gave 2 days class on what I'm sharing with you, and there were 20 people here. And I worked so hard, you know, to introduce this and introduce that. And then in the end of the class, there's one sister, she said, I don't care for all this knowledge. I only go about the feeling. I want to go deeper into my meditation. And I think she's right. But this knowledge can help us be more efficient and more sincere and more focused in our meditation. So if you understand that our chakra is a bundle of nerves, because for most people chakras are abstract. If we have no idea how to imagine this chakra, we see the picture, we visualize the picture, but what is really going on? We are logical trained people. So imagine you have this bundle of nerves. In the center of the nerve, there is a golden spot. And if you focus on that spot, your chakra, you can control the chakra. And I think this is what we hope everybody can find, that we learn not just we do the process, we do the technique, but we really want to go deep into the center of that chakra. Somebody raised their hand. I'm very sorry. I have no idea where you are.
Yes, brother. Namaskar. You said about if we like to cut we have a second. If you got first angry, you will get the second angry. So if you want to cut this, you like meditate, with diet, with asana, something like that. So if we talk about our life, yes. If we talk about society, many kids like they have trauma because the parents, right? The relationship with the parents. So when they grow up, they become the adult with personality, with a lot of anger, anxiety, worry, anything about negative. So I want to know, like, because if like that, they already become like personality and already put in subconscious the person, everything, the action. I want to know how far like meditation, diet, and asana can help that person.
Well, this I can only say what Baba says. And so actually Baba in one place, he says asanas can control the subtleties, the propensities. In another place, Baba says can somewhat control the subtleties. So can I think that there maybe cannot be 100% control. And if, let's say, you do the asanas to work on this, but you have to do meditation also because the samskara is still there. And so I think Baba said this thing maybe because he felt asanas is good, but you cannot not only do asana to control your emotions. You also have to clean up your mind. And so remove this negative thinking or this traumatic thinking from the mind through kirtan, through meditation. And so I think from my experience it's a process. And you see, in Ananda Marga we have some people who are very great. I think we all know Dada Chandranath passed away. And every time he goes into meditation, his mind goes into samadhi. He's free from all physical limitations. And one American brother visited him, and then he stayed with him. He was so inspired. Then what happened? He saw, because Dada Chandranath would sit in meditation for at least 1.5 hours. So then he finished his meditation, and they started talking, and then Dada Chandranath said, I want to do meditation again. So he did again meditation. And then when he finished the second time meditation, this American brother asked him, Dadaji, why do you do again meditation? And then Dada Chandranath answered, he was not satisfied with his 90 minutes practice. Means to say, as long as you have a body, there is some propensity affecting the mind. So there can, I think, from this what he's sharing, I have an intuitive feeling that as long as you're in the body, you're going to have propensities. And we can manage propensities, we can direct them, but unless we go for total liberation, we will always be caught up in some propensity. So the physical body cannot be totally silenced until samadhi, until means total liberation. But we can reduce, we can manage, we can slow down the effect of these propensities. So we train the mind, and I think this is the most important thing. Our asanas can slow down the glandular function, but we really have to train the strength of the mind, direct the mind to a goal, if the mind has no goal, this asana practice also is not going to help. Your mind will get stuck in some other attachment, some other complication. DDG, I don't know if I answered your question.
Yes, I understand. Thank you.
So actually, for most of us, let's say you get somebody who has anger problem. Yeah, do some asanas. It will help you control your anger. Maybe he's not ready for liberation. Today, what we see from the scientific community and the outside society and not sadhaka society, asanas help with depression. Asana help with anxiety. So if people do 3 months, or I think many of them are 8 weeks, 2 months, 2 months practice of yoga, asana twice a week, they get benefits. And we have seen ourselves, people have thyroid problem, they take Western medicine to adjust the thyroid. They every day must take 5 pills. After yoga asana, doing every day this shoulder stand and fish pose, they only need to take 1 pill. So means asanas work on the glands. Asanas, they balance the glands activity. Maybe through the brain, but anyway, it works on the glands. So there is benefit. And once the glands are balanced, it helps with our temper. And I think many people keep on coming back to yoga because it helps them be better people. Less angry, less anxious, more peaceful.
Thank you.
Brother, asanas to avoid anger. Brother, you told what is that asanas, brother? Asanas to control the anger.
Afternoon we'll talk about this side.
Okay, thank you.
Because I think now.
Guys, time's up.
Thank you, Mira.
You are welcome. Okay, thank you so much, Brother Rudra Mohan, for your explanations and your sharings. I think all the participants, we are very is interesting classes. So thank you so much. Before we're leaving, so I would like to invite Brother Buddhishwara to lead the kirtan for 5 minutes. 3 or 5 minutes.
Namaskar.
Namaskar. Thank you, Brother Bodhiswara. So we will have break for 1 hour for lunch. So in Jakarta time is 12:30. We will come back to these rooms, or 1:30 in Bali's time. So thank you so much, everyone, and also thank you for Sister Anandi and Sister Lalita for your translator. And yeah, everyone, namaskar. See you later.
Namaskar.